Cup perhaps wasn't the start that you were looking for in this particular season, but how valuable has that been in your preparation for this first league game to where you might have been if it had just all been friendlies?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think, I've been a big admirer of the League Cup campaign, the League Cup in general, in terms of the setup and the structure of it, and when they brought it forward initially, I thought it was actually a good thing to do. So I'm not going to sit here and make too many excuses about the competition starting a bit earlier than what we would like, but I think every team that goes into it would agree, and every manager out there would agree that given how short the break was after last season, and how soon the first competitive game came upon us, I don't think it gave any of us really enough time to get the fitness levels to where they needed to be, to get the recruitment done that we would have all liked. But in saying that, we still should have done better against Spartans, and we had enough opportunities on the day to win the game. And I think that when you lose that first game, it always gives you a mountain to climb. And fair play to Partick, they went and got the points required to get out of the group. But it was a slow start. It might have been a bit of a reality check maybe for some of us as well, in terms of what this league campaign is going to look like. If you underestimate the opposition at any given moment, then it can really come back and hurt you. And I think that's probably the biggest and the hardest lesson that we've had to learn.
And looking at some of the new players that have come in, it's given you a good opportunity to see them in competitive. Louis Moe, 2 starts, 2 goals. Wilton in the goals, some fantastic keeping, and a good midfield building up there with the youngsters of Kuju and Fotheringham. It's building up to be an exciting time.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I'm very confident in the success of the recruitment that we've had, but it's far too early to start high-fiving each other and talking about what a good team we are. We have to go out there and show it. And as I said, we'll only be judged on how good a team we've been come the end of the season if we've succeeded and if we've hit those objectives that we've set. So I'm very optimistic. I'm very excited for the new campaign. I'm really looking forward to seeing some of the younger players flourish. And I think the senior players that are in the group, I know what I'm going to get with those boys. And Louis Moult leading the line alongside Tony Watt. I think if those two can really get going and generate a good partnership and a good understanding, then I think we'll have the best 2 front players in the league. And then if you talk about at the other end, where you've got Decky Gallagher, who was one of the standout performers for St Mirren last year, and in the good run that they went on in the Premier League, a few seasons ago, he's getting international recognition. So I think we've pulled off a big coup there in bringing him to the club. Kevin Holt alongside him, excellent season with Partick. So it's never nice just to name individuals because it is very much a collective game. But I think even the captain Ross Docherty, another standout performer for Partick last year. So I think we've got the balance right, I think is what I'm trying to say. I think we've got some very good young energetic players who are at the beginning of their journey in their careers, and we've got some very good experienced ones there in amongst it that can guide them and put demands on them, and that's the biggest thing for me, the characters within the dressing room. It's all well and good me shouting and bawling from the sidelines and trying to get the boys going, but when you've got half a dozen players in the starting 11 who are going to do that anyway, it makes my job a hell of a lot easier.
And as it's approaching the end of the transfer window, are there any more pieces of the jigsaw that you still feel you could add before the window shuts?
We're still looking at the market. I think we're quite strong in pretty much every department now. I think most managers will talk about wanting to have a couple of options in each position. I think we've got that. I've got 2 or 3 players within the squad who can play a number of positions as well. I think we've got flexibility within the group. As much as we've been playing with a back 4 recently, if needs must and we had to change things up to just catch the opposition off guard, then we're capable of playing a back 3 as well with the players we've got. So no, I'm delighted with what we've done, but if something came along in the next 4 weeks that we thought was really going to add to the current group, then we are in a position to do that. But I'm not just be adding for the sake of adding.
Perfect. Well, first of all, Ross, you've been here for a little while now. How have you been settling in?
Yeah, it's been good. Obviously, I was one of the first in the door, so there's a lot of changes kind of even since then, but I think a lot of the guys who've been here have made me feel welcome, and I've been kind of helping the ones who've come in recently as well, so it's been good, yeah.
And obviously you'll be going into the season wearing the armband. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's a huge privilege. I think that's kind of the overriding feeling for me. It's a privilege to captain a club as big as this and with this history that the club's got. But it adds a bit of pressure as well, which I kind of look forward to taking on, knowing where the club want to be and obviously myself want to be. But it's something that I look forward to, and I'm happy that I've been asked to take that on board.
And obviously a bit of a difficult run in the Viaplay Cup, but now going into the league action, is it important to kind of shake that off and make sure that doesn't bleed into the league season?
Yeah, I think the first two results were disappointing. Performances as the cup went on obviously got better, and the results started to come as well, and even our last friendly, even though it was a friendly, it's against a decent opposition in Carlisle, so I think we got there as the pre-season went on, and it's now about keeping that momentum, and hopefully we do that going into the league tomorrow.
And obviously, as you mentioned, you open a day of the league season tomorrow against Arbroath, and what kind of game are you expecting from them at Gayfield?
It'll be a hard game, always is. Every game in this league is going to be hard. There'll not be many easy days come a Saturday or Friday night as it is, but especially up there, it's a tough place to go. I think they almost thrive on it as well, so they'll make it hard for us, and they'll fancy their chances to go and win as well. That I know what they're like, I know the manager's in the way he is as well, so we've got to match that, and I think match the battle early on and try and put our quality onto them and try and go and win the game.
And it looks like it'll be a really big, away following for United, and how important will the fans play a role in this season?
Yeah, it's massive. I've seen obviously the ticket sales for tomorrow night, and is it 3-2 or something like that? So it's huge. I think that's part of the thing for this season. We want the fans and the players and everyone at the club to be together after what went last year, and put that at the back of us. So I seen last year with the club I was at, the away support that we had at times was brilliant, and they kind of certain away games are sucking the ball into the net if you've got a bit of pressure, so I'm hoping it can be similar tomorrow night and for the season going forward.
And what's the feeling inside the dressing room going into this first league game?
We're confident, we're buzzing and ready to go. I think for new guys like myself, you want to prove yourself, you want to show why they've put faith in you, signing you, but for guys who maybe been here last year, they've got the bit between their teeth and they want to show they deserve to be at this club. So we've all got a bit of determination and it's a bit of motivation, however it is, however each individual wants to do it. But I think we're all kind of buzzing to get going tomorrow night.
And for yourself and your team this season, what would constitute success in the league?
We want to go and win the league. We want to get promoted. I'm not going to sit here and say, we might get promoted. Our aim and our ambition is to go and win this league. We've brought players into the club that are capable of doing it, in my opinion. It's about now proving that. The manager's showing faith in us and by getting us to this club and showing faith in the boys who he's kept. So it's about repaying him and repaying the club, and taking the club back to where I want the club to be and where a lot of the people that have written about the club want to be.
And just a final one for myself, for those fans that will be turning out tomorrow and coming to Tannadice this season, what can they expect to see from yourselves on the pitch?
I think they can expect to see a well organised team. I'd hope so. We've worked a lot on it. They're obviously, it's easy saying it in games, but as I think the games that have gone before, you've seen it kind of progression throughout the pre-season. But I'm hoping we can add a wee bit more at the top end, and I think the more we gel as a team, there's obviously still some fresh faces in here, then maybe more goals we'll get. So I'm hoping we see organised and goals at the other end. That obviously adds to 3 points at the end of the day, but I think if we do that more often than not, then we'll be there or thereabouts.